10 years of silence. Then my brother called me at 2 a.m. to save our mom from the Mafia. It was 2 a.m. when my phone buzzed. At first I ignored it, thinking it was just another spam call, but something made me glance at the screen. Unknown number. Normally, I wouldn't pick up, but something in my gut told me this was different. Hello? I answered groggily. Silence. Then a voice I hadn't heard in 10 years. Hey, it's me. My blood ran cold. I hadn't spoken to my brother Liam since that night. The night he betrayed me. The night that tore our family apart. I gripped the phone tighter, my breath shallow. Liam. My voice came out steadier than I felt. Yeah, I know it's late. I wouldn't be calling if it wasn't important. That was rich coming from him. He hadn't thought things were important when he walked out of my life 10 years ago. When he tore our family apart. What do you want? I asked, my voice cold. A pause. I could hear him hesitating, something rare for Liam. I need your help. I laughed, sharp and bitter. You need my help? Are you kidding me? Max, please, you lost the right to ask me for anything 10 years ago. I was ready to hang up, but then he spoke again. It's about Mom. Everything froze. Our mother had been the one thing I never let myself think about when it came to Liam. I convinced myself she was better off without his influence, that she had moved on like I had tried to, but now he was bringing her into this. What about Mom? My voice was sharp, edged with suspicion. Liam exhaled, his breath shaky. She's in trouble, Max, and tell him the reason why. A slow, bitter anger built up inside me. Of course he was, because Liam had always been reckless. Always selfish, always throwing other people into the fire when he couldn't find a way out himself. You need to give me more than that, I said. A pause, and then, I owe some people a lot of money. And they've stopped coming after me, Max. They've gone after her instead. I let his words sink in. They'd gone after Mom. You're telling me, I said slowly, that because of your mess, these people, whoever they are, threatening our mother? It's worse than that, Liam admitted. They're watching her. She thinks it's just bad luck, cars following her, weird calls, little things. But I know better. They sent a message yesterday. I swallowed hard. What kind of message? A photo, Max. His voice was barely a whisper. Her at the grocery store, alone. They sent it to me with one line. Tick, tock. I sat in silence, gripping the phone so tightly, my knuckles turned white. I wanted to scream at Liam, to tell him this was his mess and that he was on his own. But this wasn't just about him anymore. How much do you owe? I asked finally, my voice flat. 200 grand. I nearly dropped the phone. Are you insane? I didn't plan for it to get this bad, he shot back. It started small, a few bad bets, some quick loans. I was going to pay it back, then things snowballed. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Liam had always been reckless, but this was a death sentence. And now Mom's paying for it, I muttered. That's why I need you, Max. His voice was desperate now. You're smart. You always were. You can help me figure this out before they do something worse. I wanted to say no, to walk away. But deep down I knew I wouldn't. Meet me tomorrow, I said. Somewhere public. We figure this out fast. Liam sighed, relief washing through his voice. Thank you, Max. I hung up, staring at the dark ceiling above me. I wasn't doing this for Liam. I was doing this for Mom. The next day, I walked into the dinner one of those old rundown spots with sticky booths and coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. Liam was already there, looking like hell warmed over. You look awful, I said, sliding into the booth. Nice to see you too, he muttered, rubbing his temples. Talk, I said. Start from the beginning. Liam sighed. It was this guy Vic. He runs these underground betting rings. Seemed harmless at first. Low stakes. I was winning. Then I wasn't. And Vic, he doesn't forgive debt. He collects. And now he's collecting through Mom. Liam nodded. I exhaled sharply. What does he want? The money, obviously. But it's not just that. He likes control. He likes making people desperate. You brought this to our front door, Liam, I said. Now we have to handle it. His hands curled into fists. So what's the plan? I stared at him, calculating. First, we find out exactly how deep you're in, I said. Then we play Vic's game. Liam shifted in his seat, eyes darting toward the diner's entrance, as if expecting Vic's men to crash through the doors any second. We don't have much time, he muttered. Vic's patience is running out. Then we make a move before he does, I said. First, you tell me everything. Every detail you have on Vic's habits, his enforcers, his weak spots. Liam sighed and rubbed his temple. Vic runs his operation like a chess game. He never gets his hands dirty, hires people for that. Danny and Marco, his main muscle, are the ones making sure people stay scared. If Vic wants someone really broken, though, he sends Lucas. Who's Lucas? Liam's jaw clenched. Someone you don't want knocking on your door. I filed that name away. Where does Vic keep his money? I asked. Not in a bank. That's for sure, Liam scoffed. He keeps most of it liquid, stashed in properties under different names. The closest thing to a headquarters he has is the back rooms of this club, Velvet Room. Then that's where we start, I said. Start? Liam repeated, narrowing his eyes. If Vic plays this like chess, we make our move before he does. We hit where it hurts. That night I drove past the Velvet Room, watching from a safe distance. It was busy, packed with people who had no idea that in the back rooms, lives were being bought and sold. You want to walk in there and do what, exactly? Liam asked, eyeing me warily. I want to learn the layout, understand who's moving in and out. See if there's a way to get close without getting our heads blown off. Liam scoffed. Good luck with that. You got us into this mess. The least you can do is trust me to get us out. Liam didn't argue. That was progress, at least. The next night, I found myself standing outside the Velvet Room. The neon sign buzzed faintly, casting a red glow across the sidewalk. It was just another club to the outside world. But inside, lives were bought, sold, and destroyed. Liam stood beside me, shifting nervously. I still don't get what we're doing here. We're making Vic uncomfortable, I said. People like him thrive on control. If we shake that, we buy ourselves time. Liam hesitated, but he followed me through the doors. The music was loud, the crowd thick, but my focus was on the back of the club, where the real business happened. We need eyes on Vic's operation, I said, and we need leverage. Liam frowned. Leverage? How do we get that? We find something Vic doesn't want getting out. Something valuable. Like what? I scanned the room. Then, I spotted him, Danny, Vic's muscle, slipping through a side door. Like whatever's behind that door. Getting past security wasn't easy, but money talked. A carefully placed bribe got us into the back hallway. Stay quiet, I muttered. Liam nodded, and we moved toward the door Danny had disappeared through. I pressed my ear against it, voices low and tense. We need to move soon, someone was saying. Vic wants everything handled by the end of the week. I exchanged a look with Liam. Handled? I mouthed. Liam's face was pale. They're going after Mom, he whispered. I clenched my jaw. Not if I had anything to say about it. Liam's breath hitched beside me, but I didn't have time to reassure him. If Vic's men were planning to handle the situation by the end of the week, we had even less time than I thought. We need proof, I whispered. Liam nodded, pulling out his phone, but I grabbed his wrist before he could start recording. Not here, I warned. If they catch you, it's over. We needed a way to draw them out, to make them slip up, and I had an idea. Follow my lead, I said. I straightened my jacket and pushed the door open. Danny and Marco turned to look at me, surprise flashing across their faces. Sorry, I said smoothly, shoving my hands in my pockets. Got turned around. Place is a maze. Marco narrowed his eyes. Who the hell are you? He asked. I smiled, like I wasn't standing 2 feet from men who could break me in half. Just someone looking to make a deal, I said. Danny's posture shifted slightly, interest sparking in his expression. What kind of deal? The kind Vic might want to hear about. Danny exchanged a glance with Marco. There was a beat of hesitation. Then Danny leaned forward. Vic doesn't waste time with people he doesn't know, he said. You want a meeting, you give us a reason. I nodded like I expected that. I know how things work, I said. I also know Vic's got problems. Somian's getting sloppy. That's bad for business. Marco scoffed. What the hell are you talking about? I shrugged, keeping my tone casual. Just saying you've seen some loose ends that haven't been handled as cleanly as Vic likes. Danny's expression shifted slightly. What do you know? I smiled. Set up a meeting, and I'll tell Vic myself. It was a gamble. A big one. But all I needed was to get close enough to Vic to understand his operation, to find a weakness. And if I had to lie my way into the room, so be it. The next night, Liam and I walked into a dimly lit warehouse, guided by Danny and Marco. Vic was already waiting. He sat in the center of the room, leaning back in his chair with the easy confidence of a man who had never lost control a day in his life. So, Vic said, his voice smooth, "You've got something to say?" I held his gaze. "Depends," I said. "Depends on how much you're willing to listen." Vic smiled. "Convince me." Vic's gaze was sharp, calculating. He leaned forward slightly, resting his elbows on the table. "You've got my attention," he said. "Now don't waste my time." I could feel Liam tense beside me, but I kept my expression calm. "I know you've got problems," I said. "Your muscle is getting sloppy. You're losing control." Vic's smile tightened. "You think I don't know every move my people make? I think you're smart enough to listen before you decide whether I'm wasting your time." Vic's eyes flickered with interest. "Go on," he said. I took a breath. "I'm not here to beg for Liam. I'm here to offer something better: leverage." Vic raised an eyebrow. "Leverage?" "Your operation runs on fear," I said. "But fear only works when people don't know the cracks in the foundation. I see them. I know who's leaking information, who's making mistakes." Vic leaned back, considering. "And what do you want in return?" I smiled. "We make a trade. My information for my mother's safety." Vic let the silence stretch. "Interesting," he said finally. "But I don't make deals with people I don't trust." I met his gaze evenly. "Then let me prove I'm worth trusting." Vic tapped his fingers against the table. "Fine," he said. "I'll give you one chance, one job. You pull it off, I consider your request." "What kind of job?" I asked carefully. "There's someone I need information on," Vic said. "A cop? A pop? He's been sniffing around my business, asking the wrong questions." Liam stiffened beside me. "You want us to spy on a cop?" Vic smiled. "You wanted leverage. Now you'll earn it." I kept my expression neutral, but inside I was calculating fast. Spying on a cop? That wasn't just dangerous, it was the kind of thing that could blow up in my face fast. But refusing outright? That would put Mom in more danger. "What's his name?" I asked. Vic smirked. "Detective Ray Monroe," he said. "He's been asking too many questions. I need to know what he knows and who's feeding him." Liam shifted uncomfortably beside me, but I didn't break eye contact with Vic. "Fine," I said. "But when I bring you something, Mom is off limits. For good." Vic leaned back, considering. "If you deliver," he said, "we'll talk." I nodded, then stood up. I wasn't going to spy on Monroe. I was going to warn him. The next morning, I sat in my car outside the police station, drumming my fingers against the steering wheel. Liam had begged me not to do this, said it was too risky, but I wasn't about to let Vic turn me into one of his pawns. Taking a breath, I stepped out and walked through the front door. Monroe was easy to spot, mid-40s, sharp-eyed, the kind of guy who never missed a detail. "Detective Monroe?" I said. He glanced at me, sizing me up. "Who's asking?" "Someone who knows Vic isn't happy with you." Monroe's expression barely changed, but I could tell I had his attention now. "Start talking," he said. Monroe's eyes narrowed. "Vic sent you?" "Not exactly," I said. "He told me to spy on you. Instead, I figured we could help each other." Monroe leaned back in his chair, studying me. "Help each other," he repeated. "How? That's not how this works. You don't just walk in here and cut a deal with law enforcement." "You're already watching Vic," I said, "and I'm close enough to know things your department doesn't." Monroe sighed. "And why exactly are you doing this?" "Because my family is involved," I admitted. "Vic's got his claws in my mother. I need her safe." Monroe considered this, then nodded slowly. "You feed me real intel and I'll see what I can do," he said. "But you better be damn sure you can handle this, because once you step over this line, there's no walking back." I already knew that. And I stepped over the line anyway. Back outside, Liam was pacing next to my car, his face tight with frustration. "Tell me you didn't just I did," I interrupted. "Monroe's our best chance at taking Vic down. We don't have time to play it safe." Liam ran a hand through his hair. "You're gambling with our lives here, Max?" he muttered. "No," I said. "I'm gambling with Vic's." I started the car. It was time to make our move. I pulled the car into the alley behind the Velvet Room, cutting the engine. "We need to hit Vic where it hurts," I said. Liam frowned. "And where is that?" "His trust," I answered. "People like Vic survive on loyalty. If we plant doubt, make him second guess the people closest to him, we can push him into making a mistake." Liam exhaled. "And how exactly do we do that?" I opened my phone, scrolling through the conversations I'd been tracking. "From Vic's inner circle, by feeding Monroe exactly what he needs," I said. That night, I met Monroe again, handing him a file of everything I had on Vic's operation. Monroe flipped through it, nodding. "This is solid," he admitted. "If Vic starts scrambling, we'll be able to catch him slipping." "That's the plan," I said. "And if Vic figures out you're playing both sides?" Monroe asked. I smiled grimly. "Then we make sure he doesn't." Vic was getting paranoid. I could see it in the way he watched his own men, the way his fingers drummed against the table when he thought nobody was looking. Liam and I sat in the back of the Velvet Room, blending into the crowd as we watched him. "He's slipping," I murmured. "Not fast enough," Liam muttered. "Then we push him over the edge," I said. I pulled my phone out, sending Monroe another batch of intel enough to force Vic to make a desperate move. Monroe called me the next morning. "Vic knows something's wrong," he said. "He's making moves fast." "Good," I said. "That means he's vulnerable." Monroe sighed. "This only works if we catch him in the act. Otherwise, he disappears." I knew what that meant. Vic had played this game before. He knew when to cut his losses, when to burn everything down and start fresh. "Then we make sure he doesn't get the chance," I said. Vic was unraveling. Liam and I sat across from him at the Velvet Room, watching the tension in his posture, the way his fingers tapped against his glass just a little too fast. "You wanted information on Monroe," I said smoothly. "And I have it." Vic studied me, his jaw tight. "Let's hear it." I slid a folder across the table. It was bait, just enough truth to keep Vic convinced I was working for him, but enough misdirection to push him into a trap. Vic opened the folder, eyes scanning over the contents. "Interesting," he murmured. He didn't realize yet that the information I'd just given him was carefully designed to put him right into Monroe's sights. And once he made his move, Monroe would be waiting. That night, Vic's men were moving fast. Through a burner phone, Monroe kept me updated. "Vic's sending someone to take care of Monroe," Liam muttered, reading the same messages I was. "Good," I said. Liam gave me a sharp look. "Good, because that's exactly what we wanted." Vic was about to make his biggest mistake, and we were going to make sure he didn't walk away from it. The clock was ticking. Monroe's team was positioned, waiting for Vic to make his move. All I had to do was keep him focused on me. "Vic sending someone tonight," Monroe had told me hours earlier. "If we catch them in the act, we can take down his entire operation." I had spent the last decade wishing I never had to deal with Liam again. But now, sitting in the dim light of our apartment, I realized this was it. This was the moment we either walked away free or ended up buried in Vic's mess forever. "You ready for this?" I asked Liam. "I don't think I have a choice," he muttered. "You don't." We got in the car, heading straight for the Velvet Room. Vic was waiting when we walked in, flanked by his enforcers. "You're late," he said. I shrugged. "Traffic," I said. His eyes flicked between me and Liam. "Where's my intel?" he asked. I smiled. "Right where it needs to be." And at that moment, the front doors crashed open, Monroe and his team storming inside. Gunfire erupted. I grabbed Liam, pulling him down behind a booth as chaos unfolded. Vic had just walked right into his own trap. Smoke lingered in the air, the chaos settling as Monroe's team secured the scene. Vic was on the floor, hands behind his back, his empire crumbling around him. "Looks like your luck ran out," Monroe muttered, hauling him up. I stood, brushing dust off my jacket. Liam was beside me, breathing heavily but alive. "We're done," I said. Monroe nodded. "You gave me Vic. I give you this. Your family is safe," he said. Relief flooded through me, but I kept my face calm. "Good," I said. "Then I don't need to see you again." Monroe smirked. "Let's hope so." 2 weeks later, Liam and I sat on Mom's porch, watching the sunset. "So what now?" he asked. I sighed, staring at the sky. "We start over," I said. "No more debts. No more running." Liam nodded, though we both knew starting over wasn't that easy. But for the first time in a long time, the future felt like something we could face together. 3 months had passed since this empire fell, but the shadows of that night still lingered. Liam had moved back into town, keeping his distance from old habits. Mom was safe, still didn't know the full extent of what had happened, and I planned to keep it that way. But me? I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't finished. One evening, as I locked up my apartment, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it, my pulse tightening. Not again. I picked up. "Max, we need to talk." It was Monroe. Monroe's voice was calm, but there was an edge to it. "I thought we were done," I said. "So did I," Monroe admitted. "But something's off." "Define off." Monroe sighed. "Vic wasn't working alone," he said, "and whoever was helping him wants revenge." I clenched my jaw. I had wanted to believe we were free, but in this game, there were always loose ends, and I was about to find out just how dangerous they could be. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.